Oh, hey, don't mind me. Just rewatching the Daredevil Born Again trailer for the billionth time. Did you know that despite the White Tiger being the first ever Puerto Rican superhero ever, not just the first Puerto Rican superhero ever, the first Latino superhero ever, that Daredevil Born Again over here is actually kind of his first ever adaptation? Why don't I tell you about it and why I love this character so much? Hey, welcome to welcome to What I Love, which is hopefully a new series where I talk about, the stuff I like. Yeah, good intro. Hopefully someone is listening other than the voices up here. And today, topic at hand, White Tiger. Hector Ayala specifically. I am not looking at the fucking camera, but whatever. By the way, this figure, totally not Black Panther, but colored white for some reason, that they actually sold. This is White Tiger. You can't fucking convince me otherwise. I can just take off his tiny little ears. I can sand them. We're gonna talk about Hector Ayala, the White Tiger. And we have to start with this. The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. That's him right there! Now, The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu was a Kung Fu magazine which was very popular in the 70s. It was in black and white. It was pretty cool. It included, obviously, comics like Iron Fist and Shang-Chi and the debut of the White Tiger, which I'll get into. But it also included, martial arts, interviews, history. Take, for example, this right here. World's Deadliest Fighting Secrets Not Revealed. Oh my. Or literally just this fucking interview with Chuck Norris where he's just doing cool martial arts shit. Come on, man. Look at him doing his kicks. Now, the White Tiger was created by Bill Mantlo and Jorge Perez. Or, George Perez if you want. Whatever. So, while Bill Mantlo and Jorge Perez were working on the ending to the Sons of the Tiger arc in The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 19, Bill Mantlo, working with Jorge Perez, decided they should create a new character which was inspired by Perez. So, after George decided to take inspiration for the name from some of his childhood friends, Hector Ayala was created. And so, as the Sons of the Tigers entered into a deadly love triangle, which literally saw them fighting each other almost to the death, they decided the tiger amulets were not worth sacrificing their friendship or their lives. So they decided to throw away the amulets. Little did they know, it would fall into the hands of one Hector Ayala, who once he put them on, blammo, he became the White Tiger. This is a bit random, but I probably shouldn't have committed to recording a video like this because I am squatting and it really hurts. Anyways, after appearing in issue 19 of The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, Hector became embroiled in a story where even his brother Filippo betrayed him by joining an evil corporation. Now, this corporation was an evil political organization who operated like a regular business, kind of like what Kingpin ends up doing. So Filippo, Hector's brother, ends up coming home pretending that he used to be a drug dealer, and he says he's being hunted down by this evil corporation, and he wants Hector's help. So Hector obviously helps his poor brother, and ends up in a trap inside a giant boat called El Tigre. No, not that one. Filippo's goal was to make an alliance with Fu Manchu. That's a whole other thing. He found that the other leaders of the corporation had all committed suicide after finding out that Fu Manchu didn't want to work with them. Very dramatic, but sure. And so Filippo decided, I'm joining in on the fun too. And he blows himself the fuck up, causing Hector to go into a terrible depression, really. This depression ended up causing Hector to temporarily retire for the first time. Note that I said first time. It comes back a couple times. Interestingly, during his run, Hector was kind of treated in a similar way as Spider-Man by the press, as in, was he a hero or was he a menace? He was also like accused of many murders and a lot of crimes, even fought the Prowler. So, considering Hector was about to start college, wouldn't it make sense for him to team up with Spidey? What I did really love about Hector's journey in the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu was his struggle with identity, and his struggle with trying to be a good son and a good brother. Hector was already struggling a lot in his life when suddenly this whole superhero shenanigans is just thrown onto him. He didn't ever really even want to become the White Tiger, but he didn't have a choice. Once he gained these powers, he pretty much knew that he had to use them for good. He had to use them to protect his family and his community. So after the Deadly Sons of Kung Fu was cancelled, Hector spent a lot of time in limbo. He would appear in stuff like The Defenders, he would appear in The Human Fly for some reason. Remember The Human Fly, by the way? What the hell was that about? Anyways, he started becoming a recurring character in Spider-Man comics. He was just Peter Parker's college friend who just so happened to be the White Tiger, and Peter Parker just so happened to be the Spider-Man. Unfortunately, this is when things once again take a turn for the worse for Hector. While he's still struggling with even if he wants to be the White Tiger, his entire family is killed. And even when he was trying to get revenge for his family, he completely falls into a trap and almost gets killed himself. He once again decides to drop the mantle and try to live a peaceful life with his then girlfriend Holly. It is not until basically 20 years later that Hector makes a comeback. He reappears during issue number 38 of Daredevil's Volume 2 by Brian Michael Bendis, during an arc entitled The Trial of the Century. No, not that one, not the Punisher one. During this, he comes out of retirement once again to try and stop a robbery, but unfortunately, a police officer dies. He sadly ends up being framed for murder. Despite Matt Murdock's best attempts at defending him, corruption ends up winning the day. So when Hector gets sentenced, he decides to try to escape. He grabs a gun. He realizes he doesn't know what he's doing, and, well, too late. He ends up getting killed by the police. So for a while, Hector is pretty much only appearing in flashbacks or some kind of illusion or whatnot, until eventually, during Daredevil Volume 2, FBI agent Angela del Toro reveals that she's Hector's niece, and she has inherited the amulet of the Sons of the Tiger, causing her to become the White Tiger. Hey, shirt. And so far, she's the only one of the three of this family, because there have been some other White Tigers, but they're not really important. But Angela has really been the only one to get her own solo run. Hector did have his own stories, obviously, during the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, but he never had a book called The White Tiger. Angela did. I'll get a bit more into her later, because her story is closely related to the next White Tiger. That next White Tiger being Ava Ayala. Now, Ava Ayala was actually originally created for the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show. In the show, she's Hector Ayala's daughter, but in the comics, she is Hector's sister. Why this was made the way it was, I have no idea. And obviously, because of the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show, Ava is inarguably the most popular White Tiger of the three. During one of the episodes of the show, it's revealed that Ava's father, Hector, was killed during a fight with Kraven the Hunter. And that appearance in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon is Hector's one and only adaptation up until Born Again. And for a character who is so important as to be the first ever Puerto Rican superhero, that's kind of insane. Despite Angela del Toro having her own run as the White Tiger and Ava having an increased popularity because of the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, in the comics they really only have pretty small appearances. Not that they aren't important characters, they do have their own runs, particularly in the New Avengers and Avengers Academy, but they're not necessarily big characters, and later on in the years, well, they don't appear as much. However, during one of these arcs, it is revealed that there is a tiger god, which is what gives the amulets their power. And so here we are, back again. Hector is going to be adapted once more in Daredevil Born Again. In the trailer, we can see that Matt Murdock is acting as Hector's attorney, which most likely means they are adapting the Trial of the Century arc, obviously under a different name now, because that's what they call the Punisher arc in the show. But yeah. And of course, since they are adapting this arc, it means that Hector's probably gonna die. Which is a bit sad that he's gonna die as soon as he makes his first appearance, but it is what it is. I will take it. This is literally my favorite comics character ever. He's finally getting adapted. Such an important character to Latino history. I'm not saying there would have never been any Latino characters ever in comics. Obviously, that's not true. But the fact that he was the first ever one in American comics history is insane. Because of Hector Ayala, you know, Latinos were seen as more than just the stereotypical, I'm the villain, ese, you know, or whatever the case may be. They were seen as more than just potential villains or like cartel members or something of the sort. Who knows? Maybe this domino effect of Hector being created ended up giving us Miles Morales, who is arguably the most popular Puerto Rican comic character now. Maybe that is a bit of a stretch, but, you know, he paved the way. In Daredevil Born Again, he's going to be portrayed by Camar de los Reyes, who unfortunately last year passed away from battle with cancer. Camar de los Reyes is actually known for playing Raul Menendez, a pretty important villain in the Call of Duty games, so I'm sure his portrayal of the White Tiger it's just gonna be great. And so, here we are. Hector Ayala is finally going to be adapted again. Hopefully more people will now know the story of the White Tiger and find out he's pretty cool. A lot of his comics are full of like incredible action, a lot of drama, a lot of tragedy, and it shows what it's like to be just a poor Puerto Rican kid living in the Bronx. Now, I've never lived in the Bronx, obviously. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, but I can still sympathize with his plight of like not knowing who you are, struggling so much with identity, not really knowing what to do with your life. Just, yeah. Don't necessarily have to go deeper than that, but yeah, that's the video. This ended up being kind of more of a history lesson on the White Tiger, but to be fair, it's because there's actually not a lot to talk about. Like, I did cover a lot of topics here, but that's pretty much all of it condensed into this video, because there's sadly not a lot. Ever since that leak that a White Tiger was going to be in Daredevil Born Again, a few more videos have popped up on YouTube, which is really cool to see, about Hector Ayala, the White Tiger. So a lot of people might be more aware of who he is as a character, which is pretty cool. Because he's, again, pretty important character. And, well, he's my favorite. And I'm really glad he's getting adapted. And so that's the video. I hope you enjoyed me rambling on about whatever. But in the future, I hope to be making more videos like this where I just kind of talk about just stuff I like. Like, I don't want to make any promises because I am very inconsistent with how much I upload and how many videos I make. But I'm hoping to make a video on Tekken and one on Dragon Ball. So, there's that. So yeah, I don't really have an outro. You can tell by the fucking intro that it was genuinely terrible. So, if anyone somehow saw this video, adios.